Hi there. Okay, well, let me just show you some of the things that I've got done since the last time we talked. And we've got the bottoms of our moccasins completed. Okay, so we've got the kick plate in the back done and all stapled up. We got a little finger loop here for helping to pull them on. And one of the biggest things that we've done is we've got the banding put on. Okay, and in this, for this pair, I just took the banding, cut some different shapes out, and and then put a piece of off-colored leather in behind it, and then glued it all up. Put rivets in there. And that's what it looks like. I could have done it with the my sewing machine. I think it would have handled it. The trouble is, if it doesn't, if you run into errors, then you end up with a bunch of holes in your leather that's kind of unsightly. But this is what it looks like. And now, before we can put the tongue on, we need to do something for our loops, for our laces. Okay, so there's a number of different things that you can use. In the past, I've used paracord and just made loops here, 3 to a side, and that worked out quite well. I've done D-rings. I'll just show you them. Okay, I got a bunch of different sizes here. Some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller, depending on the size of moccasin and the purpose for them. These are the ones that I use quite often. They're very good, they're functional, but you can add a little bit of artistic creativity if you make something of your own. And what I've done in the past is to make some loops out of leather. And this is what I've done on this pair. So you can see the loop that I've then riveted onto the side of the moccasin. And I think it looks better than a kind of sterile D-ring that's on there. So I think that that's what we're going to do with this pair. And I'll show you the easiest way that I found to cut them out and to add a little decorative finish on them by stitching with a color that you choose onto them. Okay, so now I'll just set these aside here. So what I've done is I've cut pieces of leather. They're about 3/4 of an inch wide, and then what I've got is a shape that the ties are going to be, and this is what it's going to look like. And I found the quickest and easiest way to do it is to put them on a strip of leather, leaving about a 3/4 of an inch space in between each one. Okay, and then what you do is you sew down the side and then across to the point, and you don't stop at the point. You keep right on going, and this is what you need the space for. You keep right on going, and then you kind of double back and you go into this one. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's it. You go, or else into this one. You got to go back and forth twice, but that's why this space is here, so you can get lined up properly. And I find that works the best way for quickly fabricating up these ties. And then you just fold them over, or you can cut them out previously, then fold them over, and you can punch a hole in there before you go to use them on your moccasin. You could put a little dab of glue on the inside also, just to hold them there. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put the thread on, and then I'll punch a few holes, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how they look, and I'll put a few on just to show you how they appear once they're on the moccasin. And I'll also show you how to measure for their placement on the moccasin as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll get started on that, and then I'll come back and we'll go through what I've done. Okay, well, you have a good afternoon, and we'll talk to you again. Okay, well, I've got a little bit of it done here, and so you can see how I've gone just on the inside of the cut line, and that'll give us our thread, our stitching, about a 1/8 in from the outside. And you can see how I've had to kind of zigzag along, and it saves a lot of time than if you did one by one. So I've got one started here, and I'll just show you how to do it. Okay, so you just give it a little bit of gas, and then go straight. And then when you get about 1/8 of an inch away, then you can start going on your angle again, on your curve. And you just keep on going. Okay, and then turn your leather the other way, and keep on going again. So you can see it's relatively easy, and this is not one of the things that has to be done exactly. So this is kind of what it looks like when you're finished with it. That might even be a nice design for some banding around the ankle sometime. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll cut some and show you how they look. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, well, here we are. I got the one done there. So let's just cut it out. Okay, now's the time that you cut on the line that you did, leaving about 1/8 of an inch behind. Get rid of some of these fuzzies here. And of course, this isn't the absolute necessity to do this design. You can make up just whatever your heart desires. Okay, and once we've got that, fold it over, and I use a piece of backing. When I do it, it seems to help it go through easier. Take my hole punch, and this will be for the rivets. Okay, so we're good to go, and that's all there is to it. So there's many other ways that you can do it, but this is just one way. Okay, thanks for watching. Hello there. Well, okay, I've gone ahead and I've put in a couple of the loops for our laces. I've cut the different pieces out, and I've installed a couple just to show you what they look like when they're finished. and they've got the rivets put in them that will give them plenty of strength, even though I find that once people that wear them get them set right, they don't even bother undoing the laces anymore. They can just slip them on without doing the laces tighter or looser. That's one reason for the grip on the back, the kick plate, I guess. And so I'm going to show you how I go about setting the distances for the laces loops. One of the most important things is to get them across from each other. And I've tried several different ways of doing that, and this is the best way that I've found. Other ones I end up struggling to get the laces, the loops, directly across from each other. This isn't always foolproof, but it is pretty close to being accurate. So first thing that you want to check is just kind of take a look to make sure that the height of each side of the moccasin is relatively the same. Okay, I've had times where I've ended up where this one is 3/8 of an inch higher, and then you've got a real issue. You got to do some changing and stuff. So make sure that both of these are level. Then what I do, I take a ruler, measure down from the bottom of your banding by about a 1/2 inch. Okay, so there's our 1/2 inch mark, and I usually come in also about a 1/2 inch. Okay, and that's all the way along. Then what I do is I've got a compass here. It's an old-fashioned compass, but it works just fine. I've got a piece of chalk in it. I've had to grind the chalk down a bit to make it fit properly. And I found that the best distance for the loops is about 2 inches. So if you spread your compass apart by 2 inches, that seems to work about the best. Okay, so we've got our first mark 1/2 inch below. Then take your compass, make another mark, and then make one more mark down below. Sometimes I've put 4 loops in here, and that's a fine thing to do too, if that's what you like. Then you can just kind of take a look here and lift the sides up. Lift the sides up, and here's our white mark, and here's the other side over here. So it looks like they're pretty close. Okay, then we'll take our hole punch, and I like to use a little bit of rubber in the back. Again, about a 1/2 inch from the front. And I usually use the very smallest hole on the hole punch. This one here, it's almost right on the seam, so it's best if you can decide either to go in front or behind. I'm going to go behind on this one. That way I don't punch, I don't weaken the thread at all. Okay, and on this one, I'll go in front of the thread. Okay, so we got our 3 holes there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a rivet. Here's all the different pieces that I've got cut out with holes punched in them already. The rivet that I'm using is just a single cap, in that it doesn't have caps on both sides. These get they're sunken in, so there's no worry about them scratching your foot or anything. If you don't have this kind, then the other double cap is just as good. Each has its own purpose. Okay, Then from the inside, I put the rivet. Take one of your loops. If one side is better or one side is worse than the other, pick the best side for the up part. Put it through one. Put it through two. Then I take the cap like that, and I put a drop of super glue in it. And I think I've said other places in the video, it actually just pretty well doubles the strength of the rivet. I was surprised at how much it added, but it did. Okay, then once you push it on by hand, get your anvil, set your rivet in the front, and get your punch. Don't go too hard, otherwise you can push the rivet right through and it becomes visible then. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Okay, it's got a little bit of twist to it, and so that's good. So I'll just do one more. Okay, so we'll go in from the inside. Pick our loop. And then another button. Put it in the anvil. Oops. And that should do it. So you can see it goes pretty fast. I have made these in the past where I sew them on, where I stitch them. And because it's such a small area, it can sometimes start to look kind of messy. So with the rivets, it looks nice and clean, and it looks like a nice finished job. So I'm going to finish putting them in the other moccasin, and I'll put this one in, and then we're going to get ready to put the tongue in, and I'll come back and show you how we do that. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.